top 5 quite handily. Either way, Xenox, we head into the final game of PCS APAC Series 1. It's Q Confirm locked in for first place, but there's a battle for second between Boomerang, Golden Cat, Cerberus, and Fury. A battle for 6th between MSC, Gearbox, and BTR. And a battle for 12th between DIC, Astra, Carnage, Moogi, and Daytrade.
So basically, you're just saying it's a battle royale.
It's a battle royale, and that's what we're here to watch.
Yeah, certainly. Coming into this last game, there's a lot of storylines. There's a lot on the line for a lot of teams in a lot of situations. And it's always good to see that really it's not a complete dead rubber. You know, we've had tournaments in the past, Jordan, where yes, first place is locked up, but even like second is then sort of slightly behind first, but way in front of third and so forth. And it just makes it then a little bit boring. But in this case, as you mentioned, so many different storylines to still play out here that we have to sort of just wrap up. A lot of it comes down to also the start. What's been a trend tonight is these teams in second, third, fourth have been fighting early. Unfortunately, though, they're not winning them.
Maybe this is going to be a different story. We'll, of course, have to wait and see where that circle starts off. One thing I do notice is that Fury have gone back up to Mansion and Lipovka, not interested in the Sosnovka Island. Astra up towards Severny, and hey, that is a better choice from Fury this time. They won't have to cross the bridge. No more getting camped by Bahamut. They are in the center of the circle. So a better start for Fury, but also a decent circle for Buriram, which is a team that they're chasing. Golden Cat, Q Confirm will have pretty decent rotations in Cerberus as well, not too far from the circle. So those top 5 teams, the ones that we really want to keep an eye on, are all set up pretty nicely as a result of that initial circle.
Bit of a strange one, really, where I kind of don't really want to see too much from Q Confirm this game, even though they're going to be our PCS 1 APAC winners. Fatal 9 just not watching the road as we were watching him. But the teams you mentioned, Buriram, Fury, really good phase 1 circle for them. We'll see how it plays out. Long way to go. Eagle Sentinel Shooter, they very much will not get out of last place. It's been a rough tournament for them, fortunately, and despite the fact that Bahamut is typically a Miramar team, they've done enough even on Erangel. This is from the previous match for Victim Rise.
Oh, no.
Chibarit blowing up the UAZ, which then subsequently knocked down Kamal's. That's a first.
Hilarious. I've never seen that before. Looks like Kamal's might be struggling a little bit or changing some settings. Not too sure. Very interesting indeed.
This is some riveting gameplay.
Well, I guess he's changing his settings. So that's good. At least he hasn't DC'd. One thing I'd like you to take a look at, though, Xenox, and if you were to turn your attention to PCS_map, is that Eagle Sentinel Shooter have gone toward North Georgia Pole this time. So again, changing up their drop location. No longer toward Ferry Pier or toward Watertown. Quite a strange choice from them. Either way, Daytrade are another team that have changed some of their drop locations. As you can see on the graphic here, Milta is where they've ended up this time. And for a pretty good result, to be fair, within the initial circle, means that they won't have to rotate too far.
Certainly better than Primorsk. If they had have gone to Primorsk this game, they would have had a long distance to cover. Theodora and Insight close by here at Mansion. Last game of PCS 1 APAC. And both Gearbox and Fury would not want to lose a player this early on. In fact, there is the landmark changes for you, Jordan. You're bringing up the fact that Eagle Sentinel Shooter and go on North Georgia Pole.
Yeah, it's quite strange. They've never been to North Georgia Pole at all so far in PCS Series 1. But I'm interested to see where they go from here and how they rotate in, because it's not going to be a position they'll be too used to. Nordra has certainly heard flash from Daytrade, but he fires a little bit too early and gives away his position. And now it's anyone's game. Element of surprise is gone.
So much so that Nordra's just going to bail out after taking those first few shots. Flash will just push up, be aggressive, look to try and fire back, knowing that Nordra's maybe moved back, and he was correct in that assumption. Daytrade Gaming don't really have too much to fight for. Jump up a couple of places, try and get into the top 8, but They're not really going to be challenging for, say, top 5, whereas, of course, Buram right now trying to hold on for the second place. That's the main thing for them. Vertical sensitivity of 1.17, very specific from Bryn for Carnage. Fresh off of the win in match 4, can they find back-to-back? They find their 3rd win. It's almost bizarre. They got 2 wins, yet they're in the bottom 3. But yet, when you look at the standings then, and you actually look at the numbers, not the position, Jordan, but the numbers, they're not even that far from like 8th.
It's insane, isn't it? How close things have been here. And it makes me quite excited to see what we'll get out of Series 2 as well. That's the beauty of PUBG, is that the storylines can transcend the tournaments as well, if the majority of the teams remain intact, which, if I had to hazard a guess, I'd imagine we would get a decent chunk of these teams back again, maybe 60% or so, similar to what we saw from Charity Showdown into Series 1. At the very least, I'd imagine the top 6 should be a lock.
I tend to agree with you. Rest we're going to be a bit careful against Bahamut Gaming, who have just improved a bit here on Erangel tonight compared to their first 3 nights. If we had just had a Miramar-only tournament, we'd be talking about them for 2nd and 1st, potentially. But, well, you've got to be proficient on both maps if you're going to be challenging for the top spots. UG just taking a couple of shots. By Cerberus, they will vacate the area pretty quickly. Smell gets away unharmed as well.
A couple more love taps to see Cerberus off there from Bahamut. But both teams will remain relatively unscathed. Rotations coming in from a lot more teams than just Cerberus and Bahamut, though. Victim Rise moving out of Rozok right now. Carnage going north of Yasnaya alongside MSC and Eagle Sentinel Shooter, who are taking the longest rotate all the way around Starbar Hill. Golden Cat once again have set themselves up in Bunnings. Lowest prices every day is nuts. You can't give up a deal like that.
You certainly can't, but I'll probably take being in a mansion more than, say, being at Bunnings. I think we can both agree with that. Although Bunnings do have the snags out the front. The Barbie. Not 10, top 1 7. That's to the northeast of the mansion of... Not the mansion, the mini mansion of Golden Cat. Rotating up to the north, these are our winners from last game, Carnage, just up past Yasnaya Polyana. MSC at Stalbot. Of course, still 50 seconds from phase 2, though. A lot of teams probably not going to be too happy because north and the teams from the south are going to be bundling through a very congregated center of the board around prison. Long way to go, though, for this final match, but really the quietest game of Erangel we've probably had all tournament, especially in comparison to the last game. By this point, we'd have probably already seen about 10, 12 people die.
Yeah, 3 teams would have been dead. Fury would have been dead because they were the one that crossed the bridge pretty early on. But I kind of like this a little bit more. It's like a nice culmination of the competition we've had thus far. Let's build a little bit of suspense going into the late stages of game number 20 here in PCS APAC. Still a lot of things to keep an eye on, one of which is the circle. Holy dooly. We've gone right over Milton Tower. That's ridiculous.
Well, I said
Fury's going to be
north or
moving
south
early.
may upset some people. This is just going to upset everyone.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not Fury and Buriram, who will get the pick of the positions. Surely someone's got to take the little compound, the one that we saw FaZe winning from, a GLL Grand Slam. Fury's headed in that direction. I think that's going to be the position to lock down.
This is a great way to end PCS1 APAC, though, as a viewer, as a spectator. For the players, probably not so much. This is great, though, for Fury Australia. They take the yellows just outside Milton Power. Really good position to be this early on. At the very least, the circle is also going to come down to the south because it has to avoid the water. So at some stage, they will get fed later on. Divine also rotating into the woods close by the lumber mill. Cerberus in
Oh, where are they going?
Day trade. They've all just sort of
Dodge 'em.
parted. They're playing like, what's the thing with the cars? Bumper cars. That's it. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
dodge 'em cars.
Dodge 'em cars, bumper cars, whatever you want to call it.
It's
Unfortunately for Mogi, they're playing blow-up cars right now.
So eloquent, Xenox. This is why you're the #1 PUBG caster in Oceania. Fury Australia have got themselves in a great position. Luckily for them as well, no one can get behind them, and that means their vehicles are safe for an inevitable later rotation that they may need to take. Gearbox running into Mogi once again. Seems these two teams have their fate intertwined, as DIC will find a nice position to hole up inside the dip. Goodness me, it's madness. Mikey Kamukau will see his kill stolen by Buriram, something that he won't be too keen on, given that Buriram is the team that they're trying to chase down. 12 points the difference, the gap between Buriram and Fury. I believe that has not increased or decreased since the start of the game. A couple of points on the board there as well for Astra. Still a lot of rotators coming in, though, Xenox. We've had already those early engagements from the early rotators, but when you consider Carnage are making their way in, Golden Cat, Eagle Sentinel Shooter, MSC, Q Confirm, Astra, Victim Rise, all not inside the circle yet. So there is plenty more to come from this. It's going to be dirty.
Finding another kill. He's certainly had the best day of PCS1 APAC for himself on the final day. Mogi Esports just barely alive. DIC have a nice little bowl at Mini Milter. There's Eagle Sentinel Shooter coming in from the very far north, making their way past Lipovka. Biodora just close by, not going to be able to take any shots on the high-flying Vandal 9. Along with entry fragger. I think it's actually on the back of the bike. Yanku finds JN from Gearbox. So they send it into these yellows, though. They're going to go straight into Fury Australia, who've got a 2-2 split. Nice shots from Dukesy. They'll take out entry fragger. You can get the knock, but it's the flush that matters more.
Oh,
Vandal sends it onto the rocks. He jumps down. He survives for now.
Oh, he can't go anywhere.
The angle. Knockdown. He'll be finished. And Fury are off to a great start. That circle. What the hell is that?
That is disgusting.
It's not even on the screen. It's not even
disgusting.
on the screen.
I don't even know what to say about that one, Xenox. This is harking back to phase #1 of Pro Circuit in ANZ, where we got those ridiculous Miramar circles. This time, it's going to be the Erangel circles, and we slow things down a little bit as we wait for the teams to rotate their way back in. But hey, this is shaping up quite nicely indeed for Fury. Golden Cat will have an incredibly difficult rotation in. Buriram, on the other hand, may find themselves in a spot of bother as they rotate past Cerberus, and Fury will take control of the entire northern part of this peninsula. So there is a chance we will see the Oceanic team manage to make it into second, but then a lot does play out, depending on what Cerberus can do here, what Golden Cat can do, and of course what Buriram can do. Cerberus, however...
Carnage.
Uh-oh.
What are you doing, boys? They're in the bike going for a swim, maybe. Get blown up by Fury. They'll at least feed some points over to their Oceanic brothers. Jukesy's doing his best. Jukesy's just got the ball.
You hate to see it.
Hopped out at the last second, though. Stays alive. 3 kills go to Fury. B2 and Carnage stay alive, but the rest of his team is decimated. You do hate to see it in that fashion. But when you get a circle like this, you've got to try some pretty crazy things. Fury Australia may come away with a win in the final game with this sort of circle that will give them second place. The Flash, boom, finds the elimination onto Chibaret. Boom, indeed, as Gemforce sends it forward. Victim Rise and the chaos that is ensuing right now. Mini and large Milter Power. Still, though, 16 teams, 48 alive. With this sort of circle, I maybe would have expected a little bit more chaos, but still probably yet to come.
I think it's yet to come. Q Confirm have also spotted Golden Cat's fit, ready and waiting, but he'll miss the majority of the shots, but he's just absolutely sat by Tong K. Q Confirm will definitely be losing its spin. How much damage can they do back to Golden Cat is the main question. Waikika Mukau chiming in with another kill on the scoreboard. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. Exodus gets through the containers as well. It is just Golden Cat all the way right now. Q Confirm can get nothing done. Not that it really matters for them, but this is an insanely important fight for Q Confirm to not give over to Golden Cat in the context of that fight for second place.
This is the sort of circle you would see from PCS1 Asia. Paper Thin's usually the circle wizard. He's brought his magic tree over towards APAC with this final game. Tom K, Maximus for a drive. I don't know how far they're going to make it in the Dacia. In fact, they're just going to skid off and send it into the old yellows.
Parking.
That's actually some great parking. Unfortunately, Tom K is still going to be knocked down by Waikikamuka through the trees. Seven kills now for Fury Australia this early on, only at the 15.5-minute mark as phase 4 does just bring some normality back into this final game. Of course, it had to finally come away from the water circle setting doing its job.
Certainly is, but I dare say we're going to see Fury overtake Golden Cat. They're down to one player alive, and Fury all for 1 point behind. So, question becomes, is it going to be Buriram or Fury for second place? I don't see Cerberus at the moment getting too much done. They're stuck inside Milta Power. They might have to battle their way out, and I guess there are points on offer there. But for me, the main storyline at the moment is Buriram versus Fury.
Surely Fury are going to be able to capitalize on this. I mean, they already have, Jordan, 8 kills already. They've caught right up to the likes of Golden Cat now, 1 point behind them, getting closer to Buriram. They are going to be the gatekeeper, though, of the standings, of course, Buriram. Golden Cat down to one player. You'd suspect from here, at least as a minimum, Fury should finish off in third. There goes Golden Cat, in fact, with Maximus eliminated by Jalman. So really now for Fury, it's a matter of can they overtake Buriram United Esports?
Well, that is not an impossible task, especially considering where Buriram is set. They are in a 2-2 split, though, Xenox, so that may be favorable for Buriram. It may be a negative for them, depending on where this circle shifts and how the rotation has to come about. But looking at the positions on the map, again, PCS_map, if you're interested, it shouldn't be an awful rotation for Edie and Canaxi to get to the other two in that Wizzy. We go south, the same can be said for the two from the Wizzy getting down to Mini Milta. Jalman not having a fun time here. As soon as you walk out from that smoke, he's in a massive crossfire between Fury, DIC, Buriram. Everyone's having a look at him.
It's not going to be as easier said than done, though. I just want to point this out for Fury Australia. Even at these yellows, what they need probably more than anything is for this next circle in a minute and 10 seconds to go out to the west, like away from Milta Power, because they need the teams that have gone in there to have to sort of run out and come out of there. Finally, Jalman's going to be put to bed by Edie. So that's another point for Buriram, who now are up to actually 5 kills over at Mini Milta. They have done well themselves. So they've kind of offset the points and the kills that Fury Australia have gotten. They've also got 2 at this Wizzy Tower, but this is the overview of Milta Power.
Insane,
isn't it? If we continue to sort of circle in on this, then the likes of Fury and potentially Buriram will have to sort of try and make their way in. Instead, they want these teams to have to come out. You can see where Insight and Rodin are positioned on the fence, so that if they do have to then make their way out, that's when Fury can really just kind of go shooting range on all of them.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, Fury do have 2 players already across to Milta Power. Victim Rise, Genfos keeping an eye on what's going on to the northern side. B2 is still alive for Carnage, by the way. And he, I think, has gotten up the cliffs too. So that's something to keep an eye on. Here comes the circle shift, though. 10 seconds, and this is going to tell us a lot. This could be the difference between a second place and a third place for Buriram and Fury. Even Cerberus maybe still in that discussion as well, and it's gone a little bit further south, still toward the west. Waikikamuka will have to pick Jukesy back on up, but that shouldn't be a major issue. Circle's not pushing at their back too hard just yet, but they will have to move. So will Insight and Ronan. I'm not sure what the cover is like for Fury on their way into the circle.
It's not bad, though. It's not the worst sort of circle. Considering where this may end up heading, it's going to basically be open territory towards the end, unless it shifts even further onto Mini Milta or shifts back towards Milta Power, for instance. But if it now goes in a more central position, it will be very open fields. Trees will be valuable. And really for Fury, they can kind of probably make their way along that fence for a while. They've got the bike, not sure exactly where the plan is to send it here. Probably just to join up with Insight Ronan. Insight's going to drive away across as well, almost like
the ridge.
Trying to buy some cover. They just want to send it into the Wizzy Tower. This is ambitious indeed. Dukesy's going to fall as well, but off way too early. Ronan with a knockdown onto God Meow. Still 2 up here for Fury. Nice shots from Insight. They need to try and finish off Nordra and take this Wizzy Tower position inside of the next circle. Otherwise, they may not even get third here. Nice tag from Canaxi. Insight down to 40 health. Ronan's still on a bike somewhere coming in from the north side. Never mind, not a bike. It's Sedacia. Couldn't actually see where he was. I don't know why I thought it might have been a bike, but he just send it in. Nice spray from Nordra. Insight landing a few tags, but Ronan is headshotted as well. Nordra, Buriram have defended this tower with their lives, and it is successful. The downside to this as well is they're also given points over to Buriram, extending that gap for second place. I think from here, Buriram have got second locked up.
I'd have to agree with you. I think that's probably enough for them. Fury have given the points over to probably the worst person or the worst team that they could have, with the exception maybe of Cerberus. I guess arguably that would put Fury down into 5th. So there is still that possibility. Not that much of a gap between Cerberus and Fury. And they may yet even not overtake Golden Cat. Still 133 points for Fury. Insight, he's out. It's 4th place for Fury at best. They will not overtake Golden Cat. Yoshimin Buri has spotted him. Buriram locked in 2nd. Cerberus is not going to get 20 points and overtake them. Not without Buriram getting something as well. DIC are not even going to make the life too much easier for Cerberus. Anquan are 1 for 1. Canaxi's here as well. It's a 1v1 between Anquan and Canaxi at the moment, but the rest of DIC will be coming in to help him out relatively shortly.
Still a very valiant effort from Fury to finish in the top 5. Although I don't want to go too early on that because MSC has still got 4 alive as well. And you mentioned Cerberus are pretty close by. If those 2 teams continue in this upward path, they could actually knock Fury down to 6th. That is certainly the lowest Fury can go from here, though, with Gearbox out, Victim Rise only with 1 player remaining. Buriram, those 2nd place locked up. Definitely not going to be catching Q Confirm, even if they wipe the whole server from here.
Astra have a pretty good chance of hanging on to that 12th placing. I wonder if they can even somehow sneak a top 8. That's where the next tier of cash goes up. That's a difficult task. 14 points for the 3 remaining players, but they are center circle. There's a lot of players around them, a lot of teams that are going to have to rotate past them, so it's not like the kills won't be on offer. And speak of the devil, he shall appear. In this case, it's Linksty, a kill onto Subang. Not only helping Atletico, again, Astra, I should say, but also helping out Fury, because Cerberus is the one that's trying to chase Fury down. 2 birds with 1 stone for the Oceanic teams.
Teams 21 live, the final match of PCS 1 APAC. We've had it all, ups and downs, highs and lows, crazy circles, sends into Wizzy Towers. Teams just trying to stay alive. It's Carnage P2. Of course, survived the massacre of the boat earlier.
He's done well.
Didn't make it to the placement points though, but as I said, did well to survive that long. Hey, from 74L1 just bounces off the fence, doesn't make it to Canaxi. As we look at the amount of teams that are remaining, 8 teams left, but no team has got all 4 members up. For the most part, everyone's on around 3. A couple of solos, DIC, Victim Rise, and 2 for Cerberus. 127 points, they need 6 more. The jump above Fury, they need 7 more. I don't know if they got the kills, but at least 8 at a minimum to get above Golden Cat into the top 3. But only 2 players left makes it difficult. Canaxi eliminated by 74-1. He'd been trying to do that for a while. Finally pries his way in there and gets that kill.
Ooh, those grenades are pretty damn good. Nordra has gotten Clown, and Poochills gets 74L1. That'll be DIC out in 8th, which will lock them in 12th. And means Astra will be bare minimum 11th place. Now the target becomes 8 for Astra. The circle shrinks on top of them as well. They are going to have to hold down the fort the battering rams of MSC, Cerberus, Divine, and Kamals for VTR will be headed in their direction fairly shortly.
Junior with a nice knockdown onto Nordra. 5 kills for MSC. They still linger behind Cerberus by 5 points. Behind the top 4 by about 11 roughly. Not sure if they'd have the kills compared to Fury, who have been quite frag heavy. MSC making the move down to the south as they push through this smokes. Minute 28 seconds, so they're moving early here. The blue, yes, is moving now, but they've got time. Levi's eliminated by Kamals. We're almost at the 26-minute mark after how chaotic the start was. It really has sort of slowed down towards the end here. Now into phase 7. Nordra got Meow. Trying to just see what they can do. They spin out into the open. They can actually just blow this up, use it for cover. Inside of the circle now, at least for phase 7. But Buram have done the job at the very least. Second place. They're not going to be overtaken from here. It's not a concern for them to be eliminated at this point. It's now really down more than anything to MSC, Cerberus. How much more points can they get to potentially increase the money that they can take home? Can they get top 4, top 3? Then you've got that logjam from 8 to 11. A lot of points there that can still be overtaken. A team like Astra with 3 alive. Now Cerberus making their way out. Linksy with a knockdown onto Basil. Pushing back through the smoke is Smell. Last one up. First aid kit. He's just moving with the blue slowly, trying to buy as much time. Niku's with a shot into the smoke. It lands onto Smell. I think Astra should be able to finish off Cerberus. That's also then going to mean Cerberus do not overtake Fury. They'll hold on to 5th for now, and it'll be down to just MSC to see whether or not they can leapfrog anyone and get into the top 5.
Well, MSC have gotten into the circle in a pretty decent position. Yes, there's not that much cover, but they're arguably doing better than most. 3 players alive. They will be one of the powerhouses as Linksy dunks an 8 on top of Smell, eliminates Cerberus, and it is then confirmed, as you say, they will not overtake Fury. And it's down to MSC to knock them into 5th, trying to get themselves out of 6th even. They could potentially still overtake Cerberus as well. Astra do not have to move, and they can play gatekeeper onto MSC. Look at the moves that Astra is making right now. The grenades primed. Zoidmate throws a flash. They're checking the close angles, but MSC might have a rude awakening ahead of them.
4 points behind Cerberus. Lined up. Like 3 snakes ready to pounce on the rabbit that's coming out of the cage, which is Astra. Smart from Niku's trying to get more of a sight line if he can. Nikki behind the smoke. Oh, Flash is just watching them sunbathing. Headshot onto Ilonix.
You could get them all.
I can't see them all though, and with the blue pushing in, I mean, he's very fortunate that he's not even dead yet. Buram finally eliminated as Nordra dies to the blue. Zoidmate pops out, although immediately is just sat down by Yanku, who's still just sitting there sunbathing.
He won't be finished off. Day Trade are potentially going to finish off MSC though. Receipt to JR, not a fun time, nor for Yanku. Hoochie will get them both. He's sat down though by Niku's, and this is where the benefit of the high ground comes into effect. Zoidmate does not get punished for being knocked, and Astra have control of the entire zone. They can third-party everything. The only thing that can cause problems for them would potentially be a Nikki, but he's been spotted. Linksy too good, and Divine out in 3rd. Astra, the only Oceanic team that hasn't found a victory in PCS APAC Series 1, may be on the precipice of doing it at the 11th hour.
I'm not sure how much more this really pushes them up, though. May get them into the top... Well, definitely will get them into the top 10. I don't know if that then pushes them into the top 8, but regardless, still, a win is a win. And it would be a good way to at least finish off the tournament for Astra. As you said, the only Oceanic team yet to find a win. They can do it on the final game of the final day. And from here, 3 versus 2 against Day Trade. If Day Trade can win this, they will jump above Gearbox, but I don't think that changes their pay packet. So it's really just a matter of, I guess, pride for Day Trade here to see how much further they can go up the standings. Zoid still has the UAZ. Smokes are laid down from Linksy. And Nikus is going to join him, and Zoid just moves the UAZ down as far as he can. Spray from Matey. Flash is knocked down by Linksy, though. Zoid's going to be knocked. No, stays alive. Somehow Matey doesn't connect. Now he does, but the reinforcements are there. Astra with a 10-kill win claimed the final chicken dinner of PCS1 APAC. All three Oceanic teams found some chicken dinner along the way. But most importantly, Jordan, Q Confirm are your winners. They are your champion for PCS1 APAC.
Boomerang will take second place, a fair margin behind Q Confirm, but enough above Golden Cat, who take third, Cerberus in fourth, and Fury in fifth. That is how the placements will end toward the top 5. A final game for Astra, though. 20 points on the board, and that elusive chicken dinner. Boomerang did enough, of course, to hold on to second place, not only in the match leaderboard, but in the season leaderboard as well. And a good final game there from Fury. Despite missing out on the placement points, they got a lot of kill points, true to their previous form. They'll be able to continue that storyline, and I'm sure we'll be seeing them back in Series 2 as well.
Well, they'd certainly be favourites along with Fury to make it back for PCS2. Here is the final total leaderboard. Q Confirm 183 points, and well, towards the last 2 games, certainly just let off a little bit, and they had all reason to. They were so far in front. Buriram United ended up second place by a bit of a margin to third after what was a battle for a while, cleanly beating Fury in that final battle in the final game to take second place. Golden Cat held on by the skin of their teeth by just 1 point. As in the end, Jordan, actually, we would have seen Fury take third had they at least tied, since they had the kills. Yeah,
absolutely. They were close, but not close enough. The same can be said for Astra, who miss out on an 8th place by 2 points. Victim Rise, who miss out based on the kill differential between themselves and Daytrade. But I do want to talk about Cerberus and Daytrade. Great turnaround from them, given their performances in Charity Showdown. Cerberus was 12th there and 14th for Daytrade, but it's 5th for Cerberus here and 8th for Daytrade in PCS Series 1. So good performances across the board from the Vietnamese and Thai regions. Better performances from Oceania as well compared to what we saw in Charity Showdown. Fantastic work from Fury to be able to make it into 4th. They weren't even in the top 8 going into the second week, Xenox, so they've really done well for themselves. Carnage taking 14th, their first introduction to a competition of this caliber, and it can be said that that is not a bad performance at all, outplacing Bahamut from the Philippines and Eagle Sentinel Shooter from Indonesia. And of course, to round things out, Divine, DIC, and Maogi Esports, 11, 12, and 13. Not putting in terrible performances either. Divine lacking a chicken dinner, but had they been able to pick one up, they might well have found themselves in the top 8. That is how close things were here in PCS APAC Series 1.
Certainly so. And look, the region in the end showed a lot of fun along the way. Very different contrast to PCS Charity Showdown, which was more top-heavy in terms of like the top 8 versus the bottom 8. When you look at the total leaderboard for the bottom 8, look how many chicken dinners. 2 to Bahamut, 2 to Carnage, 2 to DIC, 2 to Victim Rise, and a couple of singles there with Astra and Maogi. And yet, of course, they're in the bottom 8. Whereas in Charity Showdown, there was not a single team who actually won a game that was in the bottom 8. I mean, incredible difference, and it goes to show just how close this really was. I mean, Eagle Sentinel Shooter, Jordan, they fell away a little bit towards the end, 65 points, but from, Bahamut onwards,